So I'll be speaking on market trends and demand for financial management solutions for freelancers and businesses in Africa. Let's go to the next slide, please. Okay, I think I have the remote here. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, so I'll start with the story, a quick story. There's a guy called Victor, a freelancer in Lagos, Nigeria, and started to earn in USD, software developer, and he needed a DOM account. And that was a struggle for him to get because he needed to start receiving USD. And there was so much struggle also to get accounts with global platforms, like Payoneer, PayPal. PayPal does not exactly work in Africa the way it should work. So the story is we don't have support for Africans for solutions like a financial management system. You can wake up one morning and then you're junked off a platform just because you're African. We've seen CFOs or CEOs of African startups speak on how they just yanked off of the platform just because maybe compliance reasons. Last year, I think about this time, one popular bank that we use the most in African startup scene, yanked many Africans startup off. And I do not blame them because it is a challenge to serve Africans. It's a big challenge to serve Africans because of many challenges that we have, that is peculiar to us. Number one, which is fraud. So there is massive need for a financial management solution that is tailored towards Africans. So let's go to the next slide. So the problem here is freelancers and businesses wait for 3 to 15 days to receive payments from a foreign platform or foreign clients and employers, international wire transfers. How then do you reconcile payments fast enough? The lady selling on Instagram, it sells wig on Instagram, for instance, needs to sell to a US client. But then it's a challenge because DOM accounts can be a struggle. And then, you cannot sort of save or open your market to those kind of audience, which is decent money if you're an African, living in Lagos, living in Accra, selling to a US business, a US client, and that's a few dollars for you, and thinking about the exchange rate as well makes sense. We also then lose about 50%, to exchange rate and high fees if you're using platforms like the traditional banks or even global platforms that we know of today. Then, like I said earlier, existing solutions are not African friendly, and I do not blame them. There's a lot of fraud. And to serve Africans is you need to wear a thick skin to serve Africans. I'm trying to click, okay. Okay, so market demands now. Why do we need financial management systems? Why is it so essential for us as freelancers and businesses living in Africa? For scalability and collaboration. The world is growing. Maybe you're hiring different team members across the world. You need to partner with someone in Zambia. You have a company in Lagos. You want to scale. You want to collaborate. You need a platform that can help you solve these challenges. You also want to do some localization and reduce errors when you're dealing when you have like a global platform. And even if you're not a business, if you're a freelancer, you want to be able to receive payments easily. You want to spend easily. You don't want to. I know some employers would demand that you have a US bank account for you to receive money on their platform. And if you provide them with your local bank account, you might not get the job. I wanted to start with the story earlier about Victor. Victor then went ahead to become engineering manager for a US platform, Argument Fund. And he wanted to hire like a Ugandan engineer a lady. And after he had done interviews with this lady, and then he had agreed, hey, she's super good, she's going to get the job. And then he went back to his finance team and HR team, I need you to pay this lady for me, or I need you to send her an offer. And they asked, which country? Uganda. We can't support Uganda. This lady lost that job opportunity just because they can't support that country, Uganda. And we've seen many cases like this where, African freelancers, businesses lose opportunities just because of where they are, because of the headache to pay them in these places is a struggle. Regulatory changes as well is one of the reasons why you need a financial management solution. Things are changing every single day. You need to stay on top of every change. So, for instance, you're paying your contractors across the world, you're paying staff in Kenya, but then you're a Nigerian entity. The taxes are different, pensions are different. If you are and do not comply with these regulatory changes, you can be penalized heavily, like we've seen many cases recently. Now, just go to the next slide. So, the trends that we're seeing is we've seen growth of entrepreneurship in Africa, and this is why you need this solution. Over 22% of the working age population are engaged in early stage entrepreneurial activities. I mean, look everywhere. Everywhere you go to, someone is doing something because of the lack of corporate jobs or white-collar jobs. We have a lot of businesses springing up everywhere you look across Africa. My favorite is the freelancer and gig economy part. Today, Africa has 10% of freelancers globally, but we'll become number 1 by 2037, which is a big number. We'll pass through India, the Philippines, United States of America. And that's an interesting stat because if you think about it, in the 1960s, Indians were heavily transported to the US because of their tech advantage that they had. And we're seeing the same thing happening in Africa as well now. That's why today you see a lot of Indian CEOs occupying, that position with an American company. There's Google, there is Microsoft, there's Pepsi. Before Elon Musk came, there was Twitter as well. And we'll start to see, we're seeing that similar trend as well with Africans, because we see from what we have back end, we see that a lot of global companies are hiring Africans, they're hiring freelancers, hiring remote workers as fast as, more than any part in the continent. We're growing, that market is growing about 30% year on year, hiring freelancers across Africa. We're also seeing, number of SMEs springing up across Africa as well. 90% of the businesses on the continent are SMEs actually. They contribute massively to our GDP as a continent. These are statistics that we're seeing back end for market, for the market basically. And then also startup ecosystem that we're seeing in Nigeria, Kenya, South Africa, Ghana, Egypt. These markets have massive, vibrant ecosystems for the work in terms of technology and digital adoption. So solution now, we need a platform that will help us provide invoicing to serve a bigger audience. You need a platform that will help you provide global accounts. One of the panelists mentioned, I think Ijera Hab mentioned that for her to get a bank account, after she went to the bank, she discovered that she was not the one that they were looking for. Why is it a struggle for a solopreneur on Instagram to get a US bank account in our own business name without having to open a US entity? Why is it a struggle for a freelancer to own a GBP account, as a pound account, right from Africa, without having a GBP, without having a British citizenship, or without being, in the UK? Because, we want to have a platform that helps Africans, participate in the global economy without any limitation, having access to whatever they have access to over there. And also payments as well. Like I noted earlier, the lady that got rejected or that was not able to get that opportunity, a big opportunity to work as an engineer in this foreign company, just because they could not figure out how to pay in Uganda. I know many banks also don't support paying in some places as well. From my own experience at Lemony Finance, we could not support some places because the banks do not want us to send money there, just because of the challenge sending money in those countries in Africa. And this brings me to introducing you to Raenest and GigPay. Raenest is a platform that helps businesses and Africans and freelancers, automate invoicing. We give you a dedicated foreign account in your name or your business name, whether you're a freelancer, whether you're a business on IG, whether you're a corporate. We have businesses like Oyome, Nesina, Curacell, First Delivery, using our platform to receive payments or pay vendors or contractors across the world without having to have an entity in these countries. And freelancers could also, get the same value as well, get a foreign bank account in their own name as well, because it helps them not scramble for opportunities. Today you'd see many tech. I know that there's some kind of agenda now on Twitter where we're driving to have 1 million, freelancers in Africa, just so that we can see more prosperity for Africa. But we need platforms like ours to serve Africans, because it is tough to serve Africans because of the fraud level that we have. However, we solved that challenge for over 200,000 Africans today using our platform to receive payments for their remote work. We have the team to do this. Sorry, next slide, if you can. Myself and my partners, Victor spent some time at Jumia and Andela, an argument fund. I've spent some time at Lemony Finance and OPay as well, Free Money. And our CTO spent some time with UNICEF as well. Thank you. Any questions?